Okay, welcome to another short video with Happy Histories with Michael. We're still in Brookwood Cemetery. Coincidentally, a train is just going by. But I want to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. This is Abdullah Yusuf Ali. May God have mercy on his soul. And he was born in 1872 and died at the age of 81 in the 1950s. And his education started with his mother, who taught him to read the Quran. And as a child, he became what's called a hafiz, whereby he could recite the Quran from the beginning to the end from memory. He was a real wizard, a very, very clever kid. And he was taught in Wilson College in Bombay, an English school. And he studied a wide range of subjects, but he also became very fluent in numerous languages: Gujarati, Hindustani, Urdu, English, but also Latin and Greek. He won a scholarship to Cambridge, where he studied law, and with that law degree he went back to India and became a servant of the crown. And this man was a real Anglophile. He loved England, the mother country. And in fact, he was given a CBE because during the First World War, he really encouraged Indians to fight for England with an eventual view to getting independence at the end of the war. But he was a world traveller. He went all over the world. When he was back here in England, he married an English lady in Bournemouth, where I hail from. And he married in an Anglican church under Anglican rites. But the marriage didn't work out. He had 4 children, but when he returned to India to pursue his career, his wife was unfaithful and the marriage had to be dissolved. In fact, she had a child out of wedlock. He sued for divorce and he won custody of the children, but foolishly he left the children in the care of a governess, and the children grew to despise him and they kind of tormented him all his life. He married again to another English lady who converted to Islam, but that didn't work out either. And in fact, he was really tormented by this past. But out of this pain grew this work of art that I have in front of me. He wrote a lot of pamphlets and a lot of books, but what he's best known for is his translation of the Holy Quran. And I came across this in the 80s when I knew very little about Islam. At the time we had the Iranian Revolution, but Iran could have been on another planet for all I knew. All I knew was kind of negative things that we get in the media about hideous punishments and so forth. But when I came across this, Abdullah Yusuf Ali put across this in a really amazing way. What happened? He was so tormented that let me just read what he actually says. A man's life is subject to inner storms far more devastating than those in the physical world around him. In such a storm, in the bitter anguish of a personal sorrow which nearly unseated my reason and made life seem meaningless, a new hope was born out of a systematic pursuit of my long-cherished project. Watered by tears, my manuscript began to grow in depth and earnestness, if not in bulk. I guarded it like a secret treasure. What he's referring to, of course, is his work in translating the Holy Quran. And when he was working on this, he realized that Queen Victoria, the crown, ruled over more Muslims than the Sultan did in Istanbul. And the language that united them all wasn't in fact Arabic, it was the English language. And when he translated this, he wanted to make English an Islamic language so that this would be accessible to all people. The language, some people see it as being a bit archaic, but it's really, really very beautiful. But actually, his footnotes and the introduction, and in here he's got little various essays about circumstances where the Quran was revealed. You know, they're second to none. He refers to English poetry. He refers to Shakespeare, Keats, the Upanishads. And when he talks about Solomon and his wife Bilqis, he refers us to the Ethiopian myths and legends, and he knew them all inside out. And in the fullness of time, this became, in all of the mosques in Europe, this was the translation of the Quran that you would find. I remember myself personally, I had one of these myself, and then I travelled myself to Turkey, and I asked a friend to mind it. But when I came back, he didn't have it. God knows where it went. And I sought out a new one. But at that time, the people in Saudi Arabia, they had looked at it and they decided that some things were not as they would like it to be, because they are very, very strict. And I picked up another copy, but all of these footnotes had been edited, and instead of referring to God as God, he was referred to as Allah, which I don't have a problem with, but other things I did struggle with. But thankfully, a friend gave me another copy of the unedited text, and I treasure this, really. And in it, I got a relationship with this man. It's a peculiar thing, but you know, when you read books and people open their souls, you know, you grow to kind of love them. And I wish he was more loved in his own life, because the poor chap, his second marriage dissolved. And then he found himself in old age in London, and he was living in the Liberal Club. And in fact, he was found on Christmas Day in a doorway. He'd collapsed, and the police took him to hospital, and sadly he died on his own there. He almost got a pauper's burial, but at the last moment the Pakistani embassy realized who he was, and they claimed him, and he is buried here now. And anyway, may God have mercy on his soul and on ours. And if you ever get a chance to read a copy of this translation of the Quran, you know, jump at it. It's a really wonderful translation. Okay, thank you.